Hello and welcome to our Poise Signature Home Workout Edition. This is a home workout that you can do exclusively with no equipment, just in the confines of your own home or wherever you decide to work out. This is going to follow our signature structure where we have our strength exercise, followed by our functional movement exercise, followed by our cardio exercise. Each exercise will be 1 minute apiece, and we'll go through 10 rounds of that. Now feel free at home to modify the amount of rounds that you do depending on the time and the structure that you want to follow. We'll go through our 10 rounds and be encouraged to follow through all 10. So round number 1, we'll be working a body weight squat. So we keep our chest up, our shoulders back, and we just work on dropping our hips back. Alright? Our second exercise will be our crunch. We'll be on our back, feet down, and we just want to make sure that we don't pull on our neck as we come up. Our last exercise will be jogging in place. Now jogging in place, we can modify the height of our knees, and we can even have it to where our knees aren't even coming off the ground. And while it might look a little bit like a dance, we're working our ankle and our hip. If not, we can start to bring our knees up. Feel free to go into just keep it at a nice easy pace. This isn't actually high knees. High knees, again, hence the name is bring your knee up high. So just in a nice comfortable position, we'll jog, and again, feel free to modify that. Alright, so starting with exercise number 1, we have our body weight squat. Let's go ahead and get started. 3, 2, 1. So our body weight squat, again, we want to keep our chest up, slightly rotating our knees out as we sit back, and that allows us to engage our glutes a little bit better. It also engages a little bit more of our inner thigh, which helps support our knee. Now, 2 checkpoints and a lot of 2 areas that a lot of us mistaken when we squat is that our knee goes past our toes. So make sure that we're pushing our hips back as we squat, keeping that knee in place and just bending at the knee instead of bringing our knees forward. Secondly, we want to make sure that our torso stays up. So our chest stays up and our core stays tight. If we can go and knock both of those things out, we'll be good to go. Again, slightly rotating our knees out as we sit back. Let's finish up the set. Good. Breathing on the way up, inhaling on the way down. There's our time. Now our second exercise, again, we're working a crunch. So we'll be flat on our back, so go ahead and find a position or a place that you can lie down. We'll get our clock ready. Minute on the clock. 4, 3, 2, and we're on. So lying on our back, drawing our shoulder blades off the ground. Exhaling as we come up for our crunch. Now making sure also that we keep our chin tucked and our neck neutral. We do that, and that's going to force us to engage our abs. A lot of times we compensate and try to get extra range of motion by protruding our head. So let's stay away from doing that. Again, instead we keep our chin tucked. Breathe on the way up. Good. And floor our lower back as we come up. Our legs again will stay to the ground as we do this. Good. Feel free to take a break at any point if you need. Good. Use that time if you need to as well. And there's our time. Good. Our cardio exercise, we'll take a second. Come out to standing. Our jogging in place again is our next exercise. Now again, as mentioned before, we can just go and bring our heel up and down, or we can actually leave the ground a little bit, working that light jog. Either way, we'll get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, let's go ahead and jog. So again, with a nice easy pace, landing on the ball of our foot plus the outside of our foot. So evenly distributing the weight in the outside and the inside of the ball of the foot, and also allowing that heel to come down after the ball of the foot, or rather the front of the foot, hits the ground. So toe heel as we work. Good. Feel free to pick up the jog a little bit more if you like. Make sure that we're moving our arms as well. Opposite arm and leg come up at the same time. Good. Keeping our core tight. Feel free at any point, we can always shake it out, take a break. We can go back in when we're ready. Good, again, core tight. Nice easy breath, focal point forward. Good, again, take that break if you need. There's our time. Good, that's the end of round one. All right, round two. So round two, we're going to be getting into some glute work. We're going to start off with a bridge. So lying on our back, our bridge position, drive our hips up, squeeze 1, 2, and then our tailbone goes to the ground. Our second exercise will be our forearm plank, so feel free to get a position ready where you can have your forearms into the ground, and we keep our core tight, dropping our knees whenever we need to take a break. Last one, we're in a straight arm plank. We can always go back to that forearm plank, and we're working mountain climbers. So we're loading the front of the body a little bit, working a superset, but we drive our knee forward with a little bit of tempo, and I'll give us some ways that we can break the minute up as we go through, all right? So starting off with our bridge is our first exercise. Let's get into place. We'll get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're on. So lying on our back, again, driving through our heels, making sure just not our toes, but our heels primarily. Drive our hips up, and then we're back down. Exhale as we come up, inhale as we go back down, and letting that lower back hit the ground in between every rep. Good. Be encouraged to try to hold that top position for a 2 or 3 count, just so we can get a proper engagement into our glutes and our hamstrings. Nice, good. Driving through our tailbone, exhaling up, inhaling as we go back down. Take that break as needed. We can always hug our knees in if you want to take a break. You got it. Nice, good. Steady pace with it. And there's our time. Good. Next one is our forearm plank. So we'll go to our forearms. So we'll set up whatever position, whatever towel, whatever we need to go in to get ourselves ready. And again, we'll be on our forearms. If you prefer to go to your straight arm plank, feel free to do that. I'll get our time ready. And we're on the clock in 4, 3, 2, we're on. All right, so we're back down here. Again, our forearm plank. Digging our forearms into the ground and trying to bring our chest away from the ground. Belly button driven in and just keeping a nice steady breath. Now feel free to use the time, or we can just count to ourselves, hold for maybe 10, 15 seconds, and we could bring our knees down and we could take a quick break if you like. Allow yourself that break. The idea with this hold or any exercise that we do is to learn to maintain form. Now, a minute doesn't mean that we can or can't do something. Again, we just work within that time and allow our body to get stronger from there. Good. Steady breathing. Again, keeping that belly driven up, not allowing our hips to sag, not bringing our hips up too high, but again, driving right through that belly. Feel free again to take that break if you need it. Good. Use that time. Use that time. There's our time. Good. Alrighty. Quick little breath. Our next one is our mountain climbers. Now, mountain climbers we can always modify just with a slow knee punch. Same thing like with our plank. We can always break it up into sets, count a certain number of reps out, and then take a break. Same thing even like the mountain climbers, alright? So figure out how you'd like to do that. Maybe we'll work for a 10-second set, maybe a 15-second set. Either way, we'll get ourselves in position. Feel free to go to your forearms if that's too much load on your wrist, as well. 4, 3, 2, and we're on. Alright, so if we're working on mountain climbers, core tight, we'll work with a steady pace, driving that belly in as that knee extends forward. Now again, just like with our plank, we try to push our palms or our forearms into the ground, bring our chest away from the ground. As we work that steady pace, again, we drive through our lower abs, core tight. And again, at any point, we can go and allow ourselves for that break. If you want to keep working, feel free. Just make sure we're breathing, make sure we're keeping our form, shoulder above the wrist, our core tight. Good. And again, feel free to allow yourself that break if you need to. Good. We reset. Let's finish up the set. Woo! It's a long minute. Take a break. We'll go into our third round after this. All right, welcome to round 3. So our next exercises are going to be slight alternates of round 1. So we're going to do a squat with a pulse. So we did our squat earlier. We're going to pulse at the bottom, come halfway up, and then all the way back up. So squat, pulse, and we're up. Squat, pulse, and we're back up. Second exercise is our crunch. This time we'll have our legs up at 90 degrees, still working on pushing our lower back to the ground. Last exercise, back to our jogging. Same rules again. We can modify the height of our knees. If not, we bring them off the ground. All right. Let's go ahead and get in position. First exercise, squat with a pulse. We're on 4, 3, 2. Let's get started. So squat with a pulse, chest up, shoulders back. Squat, we go a little bit lower, back up. Squat, pulse, back up. Good. And that second one, again, because our hips might be a little bit looser on that second, we can maybe go a little bit deeper into our squat. Pulse, good, and we're back up. Good. Exhales, we come up. Inhales, we're down. Nice. Keeping our chest up, allowing ourselves that break if we need to. Good. 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 Take that break again if you need. If not, let's finish. Whoop, there's our time. Crunch with our legs up at 90 degrees is our next exercise. So we'll get our position on our back, and we'll be on in 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're on. So our legs up at 90 degrees again this time. Making sure that we don't pull on our neck. Knees right over the hip. Ankle right in line with the knee. Good. Bringing our shoulders off the ground. Exhales, we come up. Inhales, we come back down. Good. Taking our time again. Good. Operative things, our shoulder blades come up. Push your lower back against the ground. And it's okay if we just have a little bit of range of motion. That's just going to be proper range of motion. Good. If you need to bring your legs down, take a break, feel free. If not, we'll finish up. Beautiful. Next one, jogging in place, catching our breath real quick. Last cardio, last interval for this round. 4, 3, 2. Let's go ahead and get started. So, back to our jog. Bringing our knees up a little bit more if you'd like. If not, again, we could just stay modified. Just pushing through the toe, bringing that heel up and down if we like. Keeping our hip back. If not, again, light jog. Good. Nice and easy. There we go. Good. Allowing ourselves that break. We can shake our legs out if we need to. Back on when we're ready. Got it. Here we go. Let's finish up. Good time. Woo. All right, welcome to round 4. Round 4, we're going to be working some progressions of round 2. So first exercise, we're on our back, our single leg bridge, driving through our heel, hip up, hip down. We'll switch our legs at our 30-second mark. Second exercise, we're on our straight arm plank. Again, we work a straight arm plank with a shoulder tap. We work on tapping our shoulder, working on eliminating the tilt of our hips. Feel free, again, to take a break as needed with that. Last one we'll be working is our mountain climbers. So our mountain climbers, again, we're here, steady pace, driving our knee forward. If not, we can just work a knee punch nice and slow. Alright, so let's go ahead and get positioned for our first one, single leg bridge. We're lying on our back. We're on in 4, 3, 2, and we're on. So heel on the ground, opposite leg up, driving through that bottom heel. Making sure that lower back hits the ground in between every rep. Good. Once we come up, good, about 5 seconds. 3, 2, let's go ahead and switch sides. Good, again, focusing on driving through that heel. Make sure your toe isn't in the ground. Make sure that heel is instead. Exhaling as we come up. Then that lower back hit between every rep. Good, almost home. Good, in our time. Next one, our plank with our shoulder tap. So when our plank position, straight arm plank, and again, we're reaching across the body, tapping our opposite shoulder. So let's go ahead and we'll get in position, and we'll be on the clock in 4, 3, 2, we're on. So our straight arm plank, core tight, tap, tap. We alternate as we go through. If you want to make it a little bit tougher, you can go to your forearms. It's a little bit easier to modify for our wrists that way, but it is admittedly a little bit tougher with that shoulder tap. Feel free to just go to a plank. And again, we can take that break. Knees down at any point as we need. All right? Back up when you're ready. Really digging that palm into the ground. Steady breathing. Good. And our break. Whew. Next one, our mountain climbers. It's a little bit of a challenge here. Now again, also a challenge to go on to break it up into sets. So maybe we think about the number that we hit before. Maybe it was 10 reps, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. But we use that time, again, work within that, and then we set a break after that. So why don't we do this? We're going to knock out 10 mountain climbers and take a 5-second break, and we're going to do that for the full minute. All right? So getting ourselves in position. Feel free to just do the knee punch, and we're on in 4, 3, 2, we're on. Here we go, deep breath, and let's get started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Quick break. 4, 3, 2, back on for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. 4, 3, 2, back on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Quick break. Let's see if we can go to 15 on this one, or 16 rather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Woo! 5-second break. 4, 3, 2, back in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Woo! 4, 3, 2, back on. Let's finish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Woo! There we go. And that's how we work within the minute. All right, welcome to round 5. We're going to be working our split squat to start off with. Now, if this irritates your knee, a quick modification before I show the exercise is just kicking your leg out, and we can switch at 30 seconds. That hip mobility is good and will help alleviate knee pain. If not, our split squat, wide stance, chest up, shoulders back, bend into our back leg. Whoa, might need to use the wall for a little bit of balance, pressing up through our front leg, and at our 30-second mark, we'll switch our leg. For our second exercise, our single leg balance and reach, it's like we are hinging through our hamstring, but it's almost like we're doing a deadlift, that same mechanics, but we're reaching our arms and our opposite leg up. So, reaching out, keeping a slight bend to our leg, we're here, and we can either reset with our foot down, or for more of a challenge on our balance, we can keep that leg up through the duration of the exercise. Last exercise, our cardio exercises, our jogging in place again. So again, we just work with a steady pace that we feel comfortable with, and again, we can break it up into sets. Here comes round 5. Let's go ahead and get in position. We'll start off with our split squat, and we'll be on in 5, 4, 3, 2, and let's go ahead and get started. So our chest up, our shoulders back, we sink into our back leg, pressing up with our front leg. And if we notice, just like how it was for me, a little bit wobbly at first, a lot of times it's our inner thigh that's not engaged the right way. So try to pull almost from that inner thigh. And again, that'll help stabilize that knee, keep it in place, and keep that quadricep working properly. 3, 2, and let's go ahead and switch. Quick breath if we need, and we're back in. Good, again, engaging that inner thigh to go and keep that knee stabilized, keeping our core tight. Good, feel free to do whatever you like with your hands. I like to kind of move my hands around as I go through. Good, pushing through again, that quadricep, that front leg. Nice, almost home. Good, there we go, there's our time. Good, we'll reset real quick. Next one, single leg balance and reach. We're now hinging through our hamstring. This is our functional movement exercise, more of a balance exercise, all right? So let's get into place. We're on in 4, 3, 2, and we're on. Slight bend to our stationary leg, shoulders back. We reach forward, making our body as parallel as possible with the ground, and then we're back up as we hinge through that hamstring. And make sure we're not overextending with our lower back. If our balance is a little wobbly, that's okay. Feel free to bring that back toe down, that non-working toe, bring that down as much as needed. Good, squeezing our hamstring as we come up. And let's go ahead and switch legs, reset, and we're back in. Nice, keeping our hips square. So making sure also that that leg that kicks back, making sure that hip doesn't open up. We want to keep that hip instead square with the ground as we come up. Dig our stationary heel into the ground. Squeeze our hamstring. Breathe as we come up. Almost home. Good. And our time. Next exercise, our cardio exercise, jogging in place. Chest up, shoulders back. Steady movement of our hands, steady movement of our legs. Let's go and get in position. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and we're on. Let's get to our jogging. It's a nice steady pace. Belly driven in. Equally distributing our weight inside and the outside of the foot. Feel free to slow it down. Again, we can just go and lift our heel up, push through the ball of the foot. And by doing that, taking out the plyometrics, so that's the explosiveness of it, we focus more on strengthening up our Achilles. So that's that lower part of our heel as that heel comes up and down and we push through the ball of the foot. Again, if we feel ready, we can bring our tempo up. We can always take a break if we like as well. Good. Just make sure that that heel comes down at some point. We don't want to stay on the ball of the foot. That can contribute to Achilles and calf injuries. Again, just make sure that heel comes down. Just keep moving. Almost there. There's our time. Good. Quick breather. Ooh. All right. Welcome to round 6. First exercise from here, we're going to some push-ups. Now again, like all of our exercises, we break this up into sets. Now an important thing with our push-ups is that when we come down, we don't tense our neck up and our elbows don't flare out to the side. We want our elbows about 45 degrees, so that's about so diagonally from our body. And also we want to keep drawing our shoulder blades together as we go down. Now, a nice way to start off our push-up is actually flat on our stomach. What we can do is we can actually lift our palms off the ground, and then from here, exhale up, and that could be our modified, or exhale up, and that's our full push-up. What that'll do is that'll help line our hands up a little bit more properly. So we're gonna knock out our push-ups that way. Next exercise is our supine alternating leg drop. So we're on our back, legs at 90 degrees like our crunch position, taking one heel down, and then that opposite heel down, alternating as we go through. Our last exercise is our burpee with a walkout. Now, I know I said the B word, but we were actually going to be doing this slowed down. We'll actually be doing a full speed burpee during our last round. But right now what we're going to be doing is just keep our chest up. We're going to go and we're going to do hinge at our hip, push our hips back as we bring our hands to the ground. Step out, step in, and we come back up. So we're basically practicing a burpee just without the explosiveness of hopping our legs out. We can also use this as our modification for the later round with our burpee, all right? So let's get in position for our push-up. Remember, we're going to start flat on our stomach. So we'll start in our prone position. Again, that's flat on our stomach. And we'll get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're on. So, again, starting with our hands up, palms into the ground, exhale, we come up. Lower to the ground, elbows tight, hands up, off the ground, exhale, we push to the ground. As we lower down, shoulder blades come together, chest flat. Hands up, off the ground, exhale, put them to the ground, push up. Good, lower to the ground, shoulder blades together. Again, we can do the modified or the full push up as we come up. Controlled as we go down, hands up, palms up, exhale, and we explode up. Controlled as we lower down, hands off the ground, hands back, lift back up. Good. And we'll repeat this, allowing ourselves that break at any point as we go through. Good. As we bring our elbows up, shoulder blades together, exhale, shoulder blades apart. Lower down, good. Elbows up, shoulder blades together, exhale, good. Bring them apart. And there's our time, good. Next one, supine leg drop, lying on our back, legs at 90 degrees. Dropping one heel towards the ground. It doesn't actually have to go to the ground. Important thing is we keep our lower back forward. We're doing this, again, for our single-sided hip work. So let's go and get in position. We're on our back, legs at 90 degrees. Starting in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's get started. So on our back, again, dropping one leg at a time. Core tight. Good. Lower back again to the ground. As the heel drops, we work on, again, pushing that lower back to the ground. And we'll notice a little bit more isolated work, obviously, when the right leg goes down more on that right side, same on that left. Good breathing as we come back up, trying to keep our legs at 90 degrees through the entirety of the motion in the exercise. Good breathing on the way up. Good. Alrighty, and our last one again is our burpee with our step out, walk out. So let's go ahead and get positioned for that. Feet hip distance apart, and we're on in 4, 3, 2, and we're on. So remember, we drop our hips like our squat, letting our chest drop as well. Step back forward, and we're back up. Hips down, step back forward, back up. And try to stand through your heels if you can. This tends to expose tightness in our hips, and a lot of times it's not as pretty as we come up and down. So feel free to just go slow through this, dropping our hips, hands to the ground, taking our time. Or, again, if we do have the motion down, we can work with a little bit more tempo. Working really, again, for that hip stretch. Elbows on the inside of the knee. Pushing through our heels. Good. Number 7. So round number 7, we're going to be working a progression of our split squat, a reverse lunge. So just make sure you have some room to step back, just comfortably reverse lunging. Feel free to go back to our bridge if you feel like that this exercise irritates our knee. Our second exercise, our functional movement exercise, is our bent over ventral raise. So hips are back, and we're in the bottom of our deadlift position. Now we want to emphasize pulling our shoulder blades. From here we draw our arms up, 1, 2, and then we drop. Alright, so we're working on shoulder mobility. Next exercise, back to our jogging in place, and again we can always keep our feet just in a steady pattern without leaving the ground, strengthen up our ankle. All right, so let's get into place for our first exercise, our reverse lunge. And we're on the clock in 4, 3, 2, and we're on. Let's go ahead and get started. So stepping back at a nice easy pace. Feel free to stay with our same leg, or if you prefer, we can just alternate our legs. Either way, I'll let you know when to switch our leg up. But again, as we step back, keeping that inner thigh engaged, pushing up through that heel, through our toes. Good. 3, 2, and we'll switch our leg up. Stepping back, nice easy pace. Good, let's finish up the set. Everything with that front leg. Nice, we got it. There's our time, good. So for our next one, our bent over ventral raise, we're in the bottom of our deadlift. And again, retract our shoulders and we raise our arms up, keeping our shoulder blades dropped. We're working on shoulder mobility. Now don't worry too much about how high you could bring your arms. We just want to work on adding mobility from wherever we're at. And let's get started in 3, 2, 1. So feet hip distance, hinging our hips back like we're going into a deadlift, drawing our shoulder blades together, making sure our neck isn't tightened. We want to raise our arms up while dropping our shoulder blades. 1, 2, and we release. Arms back up. 1, 2, and we release. Feel free to bring your chest up a little bit more if you need to. Still keeping our hips back and our weight in our heels, but we can modify that if our hamstrings just start feeling that flexibility. Good. Dropping our shoulder blades again as our arms come up. Breathing. Good. Again, shoulder blades down as our arms come up. Good. Any point if you need to come up, we can take that break. Shake it out. Back in when we're ready. Again, hips back, shoulder blades retracted, arms up, back down. Good. And there's our time. Let's reset. Next one, our jogging in place, our cardio. Again, as mentioned, we can modify the height of our knees. All right. Quick breath. We'll get into place. We're getting started in 4, 3, 2. Let's go ahead and get started. So nice easy pace. Jogging. Good. Belly driven in. And maybe you notice also that there's a little bit, might be easier to balance more on one leg or the other. If that's the case, maybe what we'll try to do is we'll try to even that out a little bit more. Not too much, not trying to overcompensate, but maybe just rebalance our body. Again, at any point if we need to, shaking our legs out, taking a break. Back in whenever you're ready. Making sure we move our arms, driving our elbows back as they come, or as well as bring them forward. Good, core tight, reset if we need to. Whew. Almost there. Good. There's our break. All right, here we go, round 8. So we're going to be actually working a push-up with a forward step. So our push-up, again, we're going to go and we're going to start on our chest. Exhale, press up, step one leg, step the other leg. And we lower ourselves back down, all right? Next exercise, our reverse leg raise. We'll be lying on our back, head rested. Exhale as we lift up. Inhale as we bring our legs back down, all right? Next one after that, we'll be working our burpee again, our forward step burpee. So we go and we step back, step back forward, step up through our heels. Good. And again, we just work with a steady tempo. We can always just stay down, just work that forward step, just again to continue to loosen up our hips, all right? So let's go ahead and we'll get in position. All right, so remember our first exercise, our first strength exercise is our push-up with the forward step. We'll get started in 4, 3, 2, let's get started. Now like we did earlier with our push-up, let's start flat on our stomach and lift our palms above the ground just a little bit. Exhale, we push up, Forward step with our right leg, back to our plank. Forward step with our left leg, back to our plank. Lower down, palms off the ground. Exhale up, forward step, back to our plank. Forward step, back to our plank. Now, remember, we can always work from our knees if we'd like. Again, palms up, exhale, and then come up to our plank for our forward step. What we can also do is just keep our knees down the entire time and just step from that position if you want. All right, taking our time, again, palms above the ground. Exhale, we press up. We'll get our forward step on each side. Feel free to take that break at any point. We can always sit back into a child's pose if we need to. If not, we'll continue again, chest to the ground, palms up. Exhale up. We step back, core tight. Good, we're almost there. And that's our time. Second exercise, our functional exercise, is our reverse leg raise. So we're on our back. We'll have our head rested and we're just kicking our legs up in the air. All right? We'll get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're on. So again, making sure that our head stays rested. We're working on pushing our lower back to the ground. Now, if our lower back or our hips are a little bit tighter, we can just keep our range of motion higher. So keeping our feet closer to the ceiling instead of lowering them down. If not, just make sure, again, we floor our lower back as our legs come up. Any point if you need, we can always hug our knees in. Another important thing is to keep our head rested for this exercise. And that'll help us isolate that lower ab work. And again, keep everything just in that region as we work. Feel free to bend your knees also a little bit if we need to take the pressure off. And again, we can always hug our knees in at any point. Let's finish up. Exhaling as we come up. Got it. Feel free to take that break. If not, we're almost home. Oh, there's our long break. Here we go. Last one, our cardio exercise. We have our burpee with our walkout. All right. So we're keeping our chest up, our shoulders back. And what we want to do is drop our hips, step back, each leg, come back up to standing. All right. So starting with our feet, more or less about hip distance apart. And we're on in 3, 2. Let's get this last one of this round. Chest stays up. Again, pushing our hips back. Step, core tight. Step, push to our heels, we come back up. And if we can, we'll alternate our legs as we step back. If not, just feel free to get an approximately even amount. And again, just try to give each leg a chance to lead as we go through. And just to evenly develop those legs as we go through. Good, taking our time. Any point we need a break, go back to that child's pose. We can always just take a break standing up if we need to. We're almost home. Just keep working if we can. Nice steady pace, pushing through our heels as we come up. Good, dropping our hips, step back, back forward. Good. Nice, almost there. That's our time. Good work. All right, here we go, round number 9. So for round number 9, we're going to be getting into a little bit of oblique work and a little bit of corrective work with our strength and functional. Strength exercise, side plank with the hip lift. So we have our shoulder over our elbow, forearm in the ground. Modify with your top leg bent over. If not, we can have our feet stacked. Exhale as we come up, inhale as we come down, and we'll switch our legs at 30 seconds. Second exercise will be our shoulder rotations. Now, we can work standing and kneeling or a seated position, whatever you prefer. Our upper body is what we focus on though. Wrist over the elbow, elbow in line with the shoulder, rotate down, rotate up. Trying to keep that elbow stable. Last one was our jogging in place. We'll go back to this one last time. And again, feel free to modify the height of your knees. So we'll get started. Our first one is our side plank with the hip lift. Let's go ahead and get in position. I'll get our time ready. And we're on in 4, 3, 2, let's get started. So our forearm in the ground, again, we can modify with that bottom knee down or top leg bent over, or we can keep our feet stacked and just exhale as we come up. Good. Squeezing our oblique at the top of the motion, so that's the side of the body. Good. Nice, good work with that. Good, about 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, we'll switch sides. Good, take your time doing so. Exhale up. And also make sure as we raise up, sometimes our bottom hip gets behind us. So instead, keep that glute engaged and try to just drive that hip straight up and straight down. Good. Let's finish this up. There's our time. Good. Next one, our shoulder rotations. As I mentioned, you can work in a full seated, kneeling position, or we could stand up. I'm going to show in the standing position, and again, we work our upward and downward rotation. Let's get in position, lifting our elbows up at 90 degrees, and we're on 3, 2, let's get started. So, elbow in line with the shoulder, parallel with it, and then an elbow perpendicular to the wrist, rotating down, rotating up. Now as we do this, a lot of times our elbows go forward and back. So if possible, keep your shoulders relaxed and our elbows in place. Now if you have a wall just like I do, what we can do is we can rest our elbow shoulders against the wall, keep our belly driven in, and do the same thing. It's a lot harder actually this way and keeps us a lot more honest with our rotations. Good. Take a break if you need to. If you're feeling any tightness in your neck especially, take a break, shake it out as needed. Again, we're trying to add range of motion here, but don't force anything. Good, core tight. Again, keeping that lower back against the wall. If we're holding that position, if not, belly driven in still. There's our time. Shake it out. Next one, jogging in place, last cardio. Now, because this is our second to last round, a lot of times in class we'll do a little recovery on our cardio. So if you want, feel free to do a freestyle right now. Sub out the jogging in place, and you can always do maybe a stretch, a foam roll, something that you'd like to do, or maybe just an exercise that you feel like you want to get in. If not, we'll work our jogging in place. If not, feel free to sub in whatever you like. All right? We'll be on the clock in 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're on. So again, our jogging in place, that's what we're working with. We know how this works, just working with a steady pace. If we're trying to get a little bit more cardio today, maybe we bring our knees up a little bit faster. Getting a little bit more work here, still keeping our core tight. Trying to stay in that same place. While the foot and heel comes down. Our explosiveness. Again, if we're working on that recovery right now, feel free to do so. Your choice is the right choice. Good, again, if we need that break, we take it. Good, steady movement of our arms if we're still jogging. Toe heel, toe hits, then the heel hits. Almost there. Woo! There's our time. All right, family, here we go. Round 10. This is our last one. 2 exercises, again, with everything. We take it at our own pace. Now, our first one, our strength exercise, is a reverse plank with the hip raise. Now, the reverse plank, we're going to have our forearms on the ground, heels on the ground, kind of like we're getting a tan, we're leaning back in a beach chair. But what we're going to do is drive our forearms into the ground, squeeze our glutes, and then come back down. Now, I personally, maybe you're the same, will have just a little bit of a range of motion. My shoulder, it's a little bit of shoulder flexibility, a little bit of hip mobility. Both those are areas I need to work on personally. So I only have a limited range of motion, so that's okay. Again, if you're like me and just have that limited range of motion, we'll still get through it and take breaks as needed. Our second exercise will be our long lever crunch. So we're lying on our back. With our long lever crunch, important thing is that we go and keep our chin off our chest and just raise our shoulder blades about maybe a couple inches off the ground, and we're right back down after that, resting our shoulder blades. So we're even a shorter range of motion than a crunch, all right? And focusing just on the top part of our abs, keeping our arms up. Last one, our last cardio exercise is our full burpee. If you want to sub out anything instead of this, feel free to do that. Again, you can use this just as your last one, your last push, and maybe you just sub out a whole nother exercise, not even a cardio one. But if we're doing our burpee, what we work more on is exploding back instead of the step that we did earlier. We can always go back to that step. If not, core tight here, explode out here, back up to standing. Option going out of jump. Sometimes we add like a split jack and mountain climber, so if you want to add anything like that, feel free to. It's the last round. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. Our first exercise, reverse plank. So we're on our tush, forearms on the ground. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Last round, we'll work again. 3, 2, and we're on. Forearms in the ground, heels in the ground. Eyes up, drive through our hips. 1, 2, back down. Again, maybe we just have a short little range of motion as we bring our hips up. And again, that's fine. Feel free to also bend your knees a little bit as we come up. Just don't bring them in too much. All right, we want to go and work on keeping our legs a little bit more straight, just for the focal point of keeping that hamstring engaged and our shoulder mobility. Good, keeping our core tight. Good, and again, if you need to, we could bend them just a little bit. Good. Take that break if we need, we're almost there. Good, forearms on the ground, our shoulder mobility, along with that glute work. Good. Take that break as you need. And there's our time, good work. Next one is our long lever crunch. Lying on our back, remember we have our arms right above our heads. Let's go ahead and get into position. Last functional exercise. 4, 3, 2, and we're back on the clock. So again, remember, shoulders rested, biceps are by our ears, and we just draw our shoulder blades a little bit off the ground, squeeze our upper abs, and then we're back down. Exhale up, inhale back down. And keeping our chin off our chest, just flexing the top part of our abs, and using that to bring us up. Good, breathing on the way up. Take your time with that. Nice, you got it. Almost there. Woo. There's our last one. Good work. Here we go. Last cardio exercise, our burpee or other exercise if we'd like to sub something else in. So let's go ahead and get into position. Take your time. Remember, we can play within the minute. This is our last minute. Good work again today. 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're on. So remember, dropping our hips, exploding out, core tight, hopping back in, up to standing. Feel free to slow down, break down any part of that, or we just keep a steady pace as we come up and down. Good. Take that break if you need. Good. Just breathing wherever we're at. Almost there, you go. Good. Let's finish up. Keep fighting. You got it. Woo. You and me. Let's finish up. There we go. Woo. Good work, y'all. Let's take some time. We can cool down. We can stretch. Make sure to sanitize your hands, clean up, and have fun out there. Be safe. We'll see y'all soon.